All right. Well, welcome everybody in the room and online to the last Troy Hill Citizens meeting of 2025. It is December 10th, 2025. And I am Morgan Kasprowitz, the chair of Troy Hill Citizens for 2025. Just the end of the year. Wow. Great. So as per usual, we're going to get us started with some updates from our elected offices. I don't see Zone 1 on here yet. I do see Morgan from Councilman Wilson's office. Morgan, would you like to start us out with some District 1 updates?
Absolutely. I only have one update tonight, and that is regarding the council budget hearing. So it was originally scheduled for December 11th, but it has been moved to Saturday, December 20th at 11 a.m. So this is an opportunity for the public to comment in person or online or via the email's clerk's office, their email, to be able to talk about the budget or taxes.
Seen here in connection with this investigation.
Joan, if you could mute, please.
Oh.
Thank you.
So that's the only update I have tonight, but are there any questions?
Any questions for Councilman Wilson's office?
Yeah.
Or City Council?
Look for spread, peeling, tears, or speed on
Joan,
packaging
did you have a question?
before under the Christmas tree.
I know people like to keep them in the original.
Great. You have a question?
Yeah, so we have a lot of resurfaced areas and they're all sinking again.
Mm.
And Bobby Wilson told us at one point that when they do new asphalt there, that there's kind of like a warranty on it.
Mm.
And can he look into it and see, can we use that warranty and get them done properly?
Morgan, were you able to hear that?
No.
Okay, so Penny was saying that there's a lot of water main. There have been a lot of water main breaks, as you know, and in some of those cases, there's been like a sinkhole situation, and there's been paving on over top of that. Some of those areas where there has been paving that has gone over to repair where water main breaks were, it's sinking. And what Penny said is at one point, Councilman Wilson had said that there's sort of like a warranty on those repaved areas. And if some of them are sinking, is there a way that we can call on that warranty to get those areas repaired? Penny, did you know the specific areas where this is happening?
I know like Rialto Street.
Oh yeah,
Really
yeah,
bad.
that's true.
That's really bad.
Sunderland Street.
Sunderland Street, yes.
So like Morgan, so Rialto and Lay Street, kind of. It's a little north of Lay Street, and then where on Sunderland? The whole street of Sunderland. Okay. And I wonder, like the part that's on Lay Street, sorry, the part that's on Rialto Street, I think is on the route to be completely dug up and redone by PWSA next year. So they may wait, but I don't think Sunderland is. So, yeah, Morgan, maybe that's something we can look into about sort of what the life expectancy is of that paving, and if there's a way we can get on the list to have some of those areas repaired, because it causes unintentional speed bumps, not good speed bumps. Any other questions or concerns for Councilman Wilson's office? Okay. If not, Morgan, thank you so much. And do we have anyone from Representative Powell's office? Okay. And normally we have someone from Zone 1 with us today. Do we have anybody with us from Zone 1? I may come back to them because I know there's been a lot of activity in this month. So I'm curious to see what their reports say. And then do we have anyone else from the mayor's office here? Okay. Well, with that, so I will come back to Zone 1 if they are able to join us later on, because I know that I'm sure folks have some questions for them. With that, we have two of our city planners here today to talk about green spaces. Is that the rest? Yeah. And some opportunities for expansion of those programs. I will let them come on up and introduce themselves, and I'm going to get this PowerPoint over. So everyone online, just give me give me the grace of like 1 minute to get this sorted out because I want to make sure everyone in the room and on Zoom can see it. All right, 1 second, folks. Okay. All right, and what's interesting is, I think I might have to show this. Hold on. I think I'm gonna have to drag it over. Okay. So I'm curious, can everyone online see the PowerPoint now?
Yeah.
There's a chat. Hold on 1 second. Oh. No? Okay. Let me try this
I can only
again.
see your notes.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Oh, I see why. Thank you. Um, okay, let me try this again. Thank you all. I need to share a different tab. Okay, this should work. Okay. Now I think everybody on Zoom should be able to see the presentation.
Yeah, we can see it.
Great. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So I will welcome our representatives from the City Planning office up to, I don't know if do you want to sit in my chair? Do you want to just stand in front? Either way is totally fine. Yeah, I would just say, use your theater voice. Yeah, you can put it in front of you. That's fine. And you just let me know when you want me to advance slides.
Hi everyone, my name is Mackenzie Fusby, some familiar faces in the room. I also am a Toronto resident, so happy to be here. I am the vacant property planner in the City of Pittsburgh's Department of City Planning, and I'm joined by my colleague here today.
Hi, my name is Isabella Burris. I'm also in the Department of City Planning. My work focus is mostly on parks, trails, and open space, so I'm an environmental planner in the city.
So, like Morgan said, we are engaging today around some green spaces, and we have some parcels that we've identified in historical neighborhoods. We'd like to talk to you about those today.
Let's see here. There we go. Okay.
So, starting out with the question, how many city-owned?
There we go. Sorry. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
How many city-owned vacant lots do you think currently exist in the city of Pittsburgh?
Five.
How many?
Couple thousand.
Couple thousand?
30,000.
30,000?
I don't know.
Anyone else?
12,000.
12,000? That's pretty close. It's 10,000.
Ah!
10,000 city-owned, it's around 30,000 total. So that's what we're working with. Morgan, if you want to push the next slide. We started out with a collaboration with the Trust for Public Land. They have a Parks Equity Accelerator, and they provide technical assistance, which we utilize to help us build out the new Greenway Stewardship Program, but also to conduct a geospatial analysis of all of those vacant parcels. 10,000 were studied in this project, and we've had, I would say, about 4,000 to 5,000 that have been in this hold for study category in our inventory since the 70s and 80s, so they just haven't been looked at since then. So this is a great opportunity to look at all the city-owned properties and see what is the best use for them. And so we were looking at all these properties through the lens of a landslide hazard risk, given the topography of the city. We all know we have a lot of landslide prone land, constantly soaked land. So the goal was to kind of identify which of those parcels we should hold permanently within our inventory to prevent any development on those properties. So next slide. We had through this process about 3,000 parcels identified as proposed greenway citywide. What we mean by greenway is a permanently conserved, primarily passive open space that's stewarded primarily by the community, and it poses a lot of benefits, which I'll get to in the next slide. There are 12 existing legislative greenways throughout the city.
comprising about 1,200 total parcels currently that are legislated by City Council. So some of the benefits of designating green space: minimizes flooding and landslide hazard risk, obviously. It does preserve some existing tree canopy, preventing any heat island effects. And also one of the key points we wanted to mention here was that it unlocks investments in these green spaces. So right now they're all just categorized as vacant lots. And DPW or Department of Public Works won't invest in those spaces or try to find grants for those spaces. We can't apply for grants for those spaces if they're just vacant lots. They're not actively legislated green spaces that can be used for that purpose. So that was one of the benefits of conducting this analysis this past year. It also allows for community and nonprofit stewardship, supports greater mobility with improved connectivity and the creation of trails, which is something we hope for, and then also potentially can deter dumping and create a shared sense of ownership of these spaces with signage.
Oops, sorry, one second. Oop, up, up.
So this map here, we just wanted to kind of show as a visualization. It is our environmental map, which is publicly available on the city's website. The brown indicates where landslide prone land is, the yellow indicates where there are steep slopes, and then there's also green for tree canopies. So this is Troy Hill here, kind of surrounded by landslide prone steeply sloped land. So we did pass out some maps, so you should have copies in front of you too when it comes to this material. We also have an engage page where this map is available. But just to give you a sense, any gray parcels are already existing legislative greenways or parks. The light green is proposed greenway, the dark green is proposed park. You'll notice some of these are existing parks. In our inventory, not all of our parks are categorized appropriately, so this was also an inventory cleanup project in a way. And then there's some blue parcels. Those are tax delinquent parcels we might want to acquire to add to the greenway, and some orange that are just landslide prone. They could become a greenway, or we could just hold them from development and preserve them as tree canopy. Well, we can pause there actually. Are there any questions about the parcels on the map?
Do you know what the light green ones are in the middle of? I'm just trying to. I'm trying to look at where that is on the map here. In the middle of Troy Hill, the ones that are sort of like right.
These?
Yeah.
So those are actually around near the Scout Street, or no, the other gardens.
Oh, the community garden. Okay. Yeah.
We don't own a lot of land. This is all ideally along this highway here is primarily PennDOT.
Yeah.
So we could create a greenway from here if we owned that land, but we just decided to hold as many of the city-owned parcels that we had in that area as green space.
Okay, makes sense. Any other questions about what's on the map? Oh yeah, Penny?
What's the little gray area behind Lookout Park? What is that gray block? What is that for?
Oh, right up at it's close to the top of Troy Hill. Yeah.
So that is already a legislated park.
So
it's
gray?
just- yeah.
That's where Troy Hill, that's the Troy Hill, the Lookout Park.
Yeah, exactly. So that green parcel across the street, that's where the garden is now. We're proposing to add that to the park, kind of expand the park.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We'll preserve it from development.
Oh, I see. Okay. Any other questions about what we see? Yeah.
Question about the landslides. Who's responsible for upkeep of that, taking care of that? City of Pittsburgh or nobody?
The city of Pittsburgh.
Like they did in Marshalls, they did such a great job there.
I think
Being sarcastic.
Okay, I imagine maybe not well taken care of in the past.
I think if there's a landslide on your own property, though.
I'm not saying my property.
No, I know. I'm not saying your property either. But if someone owns a home and there's a landslide in their backyard, that doesn't affect other homes or the right of way. It might be their responsibility to remediate it.
Okay, they were showing Veronica Street back here. I live on Veronica. And in my yard and every other house on that street or left-hand side, where this landslide, that property is owned by the city of Pittsburgh. So I mean, so is ever going to get addressed or?
Yeah, so that's a city responsibility.
But you just said if it was on my property, that I'd be responsible for it. Didn't you just say that 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, but the property you're talking about is city-owned property.
That's what I'm
So that would
talking
be our
about. It's still owned by the city.
Yeah, then that would, if the property is owned by the city of Pittsburgh, it would be our responsibility for it.
Well, this property is owned by the city.
Okay, that's city responsibility, not yours.
It's a great habitat for all the deer and the turkeys. Eventually, the whole hillside's gonna fall.
Yeah, that's true of a lot of our.
I think, I mean, the city will also need residents if you haven't 311 or reported it, like they will not know that there's a landslide. So making sure that you're collaborating as the city and letting them know about things is really important. Because they can't fix what they don't know about. But they might know about it. I don't know.
If it's on the map, they know about it, right?
Not necessarily now.
Like,
But don't different agencies talk to each other?
Well, we know where landslide prone land is. We don't know where every single active landslide might be occurring on all of our hillsides, unless we do receive clues on notification. So if you're
Steph?
I'm just a little bit confused because both things are great for the EPP Parks inventory and the EPP Legislative Greenways inventory. So, like, I'm looking, for example, by Harpster, at that intersection where Harpster, like that big gray spot behind there. That's, I'm guessing, like the hillside where the steps are that would go down to Spring Garden Avenue. That whole area right there. But I'm just curious, like, is that a legislative greenways inventory or is that an EPP parks inventory? You see what I'm saying? Because it looks the same color. Okay.
legislative park.
So that's a park where the steps are. That's like the steps down to Spring Garden Avenue.
This is great. Yeah, it's by the Spring Garden and Childhood Center.
Yeah.
Walker Street steps.
Okay. That's like the Longer Street steps there. With like there's some paper streets and houses and stuff. There's some actual houses in there too though. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of close. So you know where Troy Hill Citizens Park is right here? There's a lot right across the street to the left of the city steps. It's kind of overgrown with knotweed. That's one of the ones we're proposing to add to the park. Then if you keep going back there, there's some tax delinquent parcels. Those are in blue. We were going to see about acquiring those.
That'd be cool.
And then there's a landslide prone parcel just next to it too. So that all ideally would just be permanent green space.
That'd be cool.
That used to be Person Way.
First way.
Yeah.
Any questions from anyone online?
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The city steps, are those also included if the steps are no longer there and that it's just like vacant? Like, so the city steps coming off of Eggers Street down to 28 are half gone now, but that's not privately owned and I don't see it highlighted for anything here.
Yeah, the city steps, I don't think they're part of a parcel right now. Yeah, so that's not part of at least this Greenways project.
Got it. Thank you. I was just wondering because they're not steps there anymore. The steps have been removed halfway down the hillside.
I don't know if this is the point of today's meeting, but just thinking about those properties that we're talking about above rock, there's like blocks. And are there city plans to kind of like partner with places like New Pittsburgh to things that'll stabilize
Yes. Does anyone have any more questions about the parcels of the map before we move on? Okay, you just got a great question. We'll jump into next answer that. How can these spaces be reactivated? So once the land is designated, it's permanently conserved. There's no going back, which is why we're conducting all of this engagement. We want to make sure that the communities approve of the designation of these spaces. They're no longer vacant lots, but designating them then unlocks more funding. We plan to apply for grants in the new year and try to invest more in these spaces.
That also includes tree planting. So we do work currently a lot with tree Pittsburgh. We do intend to plant more trees in these spaces. We have an IRA grant in the amount of $1 million currently, with the intent of planting in over 100 parcels right now. We have a list of that we're planning to plant trees in. So yes, we do intend to do that. We also want to have an understanding from you all, and we're seeking feedback on our Engage page and here now. As to where you know of any issues, like land size is a good example, dumping, hunting, any problems that you guys are currently seeing in green spaces, but then also what are some of the opportunities that you see, like signage, tree planting, and you know, to see where might you want more gardens. I know you guys have two. We have two in our neighborhood, which is really nice, but if there's more spaces for that, you'd like to see, or even just more fields or tree. So in the map too, I kind of provided an expanded view because Troy Hill doesn't have necessarily its own greenway compared to other neighborhoods, you can see.
Yeah.
But there's adjacent parcels in Spring Hill, Spring Garden, which I feel like a lot of Troy Hill residents would probably use the closest one to us. So you're welcome to provide feedback on that space as well, or any of the similar spaces.
In terms of dumping and maintenance, I would say the ones that I see a lot of greenways between Lowry Street and 28, sort of like down adjacent to to Rialto Street. And those are spaces where for sure we could use, resources. There are trees there already, obviously, but that's a place where we do have quite a lot of like dumping. Yeah, but I'm like, there's greenways that go in and around the Elbow Street Gardens, and that's also true for those spaces.
One thing I wanted to mention too was the Elbow Street Garden. It could be permanent greenway. It could be permanently protected.
Okay.
This garden, if that's something you're interested in.
That would be something we want to talk to the people who like really, steward that space. I wouldn't want to speak for them. Yeah, sorry, I like literally had to turn on my phone.
Next slide.
Oh yeah.
So this one is less relevant for us since we don't have our own greenway. We are encouraging communities to kind of share potential names with us. There are quite a few new greenways throughout the city. And then two, I mentioned signage. So if there's any signage you'd like us to add around any of these spaces, happy to.
Question. So you're saying like we don't have a greenway, and is that because of like the slope of all the green that's around us? Because I think about like Mount Washington and how they have a built-in trail system along Mount Washington, which is one of the steepest hills. We used to walk it all the time when we lived up there. It was amazing and like so cool because you're like walking through, you turn, you look at the cities right behind you. Like the potential for that over 28, I feel like is there for us. So what do we have to do as a community to engage like that kind of project? So like these little cool spaces are great, and they're going to provide environmental support, but I don't think they're going to provide like the recreation or community support that we as Troy Hill are looking for.
So we ended up eliminating as many city parcels in these spaces that we had. So any of that land in the map that's just above 28 is just owned by PennDOT.
Okay.
So that's why. There's a state.
Oh, so it's owned by PennDOT.
Like, how far down?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
We want to go back to the map.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I guess the only this is the edge. It goes up pretty high.
Oh, wow.
So most of this hillside is state.
It's most of the hillside, like right up to some people's properties, basically.
Is that ever something where you can like
Maybe.
some sort of like partnership?
Maybe, yes.
Because they're not maintaining it, and I don't think they have much interest in maintaining it. I'll tell you that. Well, I can tell you they're not maintaining it. I can't tell you their interest, but just something to consider.
Yeah. I'd love to see if we could potentially acquire some of those spaces.
Yeah.
How about like a small, like 1 mile trail that goes through? It doesn't have to be huge. Like that would be amazing. That was like all green.
this is also semi off topic, but it does speak to vacant land and things that have stayed open. There's 2 vacant lots on Claim Street that Trail Citizens currently has a deposit on in the property reserve. And it's been years. Nobody's been interested in buying them. If anyone wants to buy them, you can buy them. But, you know, I just hate for them to be vacant for like a long period of time. I don't know if they're useful in any way, but I can't remember what the numbers of them are. But they're like Claim Street, sort of behind the park. Claim Street, CLAIM.
And it's land, not structure.
It's just land.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's city steps up front behind it to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We've received a few requests from folks who wanted to adopt those parcels.
Okay.
Just do with them.
Okay.
So if that's something you'd be open to.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, someone can buy them if they want them. Somebody can steward them. It just is a shame if they remain unloved.
So they're in the property reserve, and you guys aren't intending to acquire them?
Well, we would only acquire them if they had somewhere else to go to, because we wouldn't acquire and hold them. But the titles are ready to go for anybody who wants them. They're in the property reserve.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we can go forward just about some.
Next one. Okay.
Yeah, so this also might not be as relevant because we already have 2 gardens in our neighborhood. We kind of showed this to a lot of neighborhoods where the greenways look a lot like this in most of the neighborhoods. Just a lot of tree cover. This is Riverview Park.
Yeah.
But there is a garden that exists there currently, Zenshine. They found a pocket of the park that's flat. It has, sun, good enough sun to start a garden. They've been operating there for quite some time. So we just use this as an example to say that a lot of these greenways are not what they seem. There are opportunities for urban agriculture in those spaces, and we will find them. So we can check this slide. We are currently in this community engagement phase. We've been conducting community engagement over the past couple months because there's about 40 different neighborhoods that are getting new greenways, and we're also expanding existing greenways as well. So we've created a new greenways code, which we're planning to introduce early next year. We have drafted a new stewardship agreement and a volunteer application just basically built on a brand new greenway stewardship program to try and encourage stewardship in the community and make it easier for folks to complete any sort of tree plantings or any sort of stewardship activities that they'd like to. And the goal is early next year, maybe even into the summer, start designating and legislating all of these parcels formally as greenway. And so this is a QR code. It's also on the flyer that we passed out to our Engage page to provide feedback. There's a map on Engage. There's a survey on Engage. And then we're also trying to create a new stewardship network, volunteer stewardship network. We found through this engagement there's quite a lot of existing volunteer stewards throughout the city doing a lot of really cool work in our greenways. So we're trying to build a network of folks and connect everyone. So we have a new inbox, greenways at pittsburgh.gov. And you can also feel free to reach out to either Isabella or I at any point.
Are you okay if we share this in our newsletter? Or at least like part of okay, great.
Yeah,
wonderful. Awesome. Any last questions? Yeah, this is really exciting. Thank you so much for sharing this with us and coming here to talk to everyone. All right. Okay. I am looking online and I do not see anyone here from Zone 1. Just want to check one more time. Is there anyone here from Zone 1? From Representative Powell's office or any of our other government representatives? Okay. Well, I have some Tri Hill Citizens things to share at the end, but this is a really great time. I was just telling Mackenzie, we've had so many packed agendas this year that I feel like we very rarely had a chance to just sort of open it to the floor and say, what's on your mind? What are some things that you're interested in bringing up in this space? When we have the ears of your neighbors and some of our government representatives, is there anything that anyone would like to bring up today for discussion? Val.
I just wanted to give an update on the latest vote and everything
Yes.
that's coming up for December. Okay, so for some of you, the vote on the resolution to close schools and implement the superintendent's plan for reconfiguration failed last month. So as of right now, Spring Hill and Schiller are not slated to be closed for next school year. Um, and there's still opportunity to develop a plan with the community on what we want to do for those buildings, for the schools, and moving forward, because there is change that's necessary. On the agenda for this month is the budget, including a potential tax increase. Now, that was already slated to happen and to be a 4% increase on the millage for property taxes. That is something that they were already talking about doing because they did not get the countywide reassessment that they were looking to get earlier. They lost that court case. What that means is for anybody that has a home valued at $100,000 for taxable assessment, so whatever your taxable assessment is, if it's $100,000, that means your taxes for the school district would be raised $41 a year. The median home value in Pittsburgh is $67,700 for taxable assessed home value. That means that the average, the median home would be increased about $28 a year. So that's what you're looking at if you're thinking about what the tax increase would be for school district. Now, the county is also talking about doing a millage increase of potentially 30%. That's still got to be voted on separately outside of the school district. That one is significantly higher because it is a 30% increase on the millage. I believe, I'm not quite certain how much that would be, but I did want to put that on people's radar because there are going to be public hearings this month at both the county and the school district level that you can talk about that. The budget special public hearing for the school district was this past Monday, but there is another opportunity to speak this coming up Monday, next Monday. What is that, 15th, something like that? I can't remember. So if you do want to speak to the your board directors, or if you want to testify at the public hearing, you still have time to talk to them about that. They're not voting on the potential millage increase until December 17th, so next week on Wednesday. But so as of right now, the schools are not getting closed for next school year. Any new board director can re-question the resolution and bring it back up for a vote, so it's still not 100% off the table, but for right now it was voted down. And anybody that voted no could also bring it back up for vote if there's new information shared. They can't just bring it up willy-nilly. There has to be new information for somebody that voted no. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of nuanced information. So if anybody has questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to, have coffee or tea or a happy hour and discuss all of this with you guys. But if you have any questions about how to speak at the public hearing, you can find that information online. Just Google Pittsburgh Public Schools Board hearing and it'll pop up for you.
Great. I have a quick question about the 3 new board members. Do we have an idea of, I know it's not ours, it's not Troyhouse, but do we have an idea of where they sit as far as the plan? What are their thoughts? Do you know that, Val?
I do not. I do know that if there's been at least one board member that new member that said if it was in front of them right now, they would vote for it. But I don't know where the other two sit. They would vote to close the schools and to implement the Future Ready plan. But it's still up for anyone's guess whether or not it would even come back up for a vote this month or not. It's still not on the agenda, but they can add things as late as, I believe, Friday if they're not violating the Sunshine Act, and as late as Monday if they do. So I'm keeping an eye on it. If anything changes, I will definitely be sending that information out there.
Thank you, Val.
Any other questions about the schools or anything else to bring to the conversation tonight?
I wouldn't mind sharing.
Please.
So hi everybody. My name is Christine and I'm a neighbor who lives in Fineview. So opposing hillsides neighbor. But I'm here tonight because my good friend Stephanie Levine is she just submitted a charter application for a charter school. It's called Three Rivers Wildflower. It's a Montessori school, and we've been talking a little bit.
Yeah, we met with Stephanie last week.
Yeah,
something like I was like the days they.
So I'm
they
not
do,
sure who was in on the meeting,
yeah.
but I just came by. Her charter application has been submitted, and we're in the process of trying to get to know Northside neighbors. The school is going to, if it's approved by the board, it goes before the board on the 16th, right after this public hearing that Val was mentioning. On the 16th, they're hearing support for the micro school, and the first micro school is proposed to be Northside located. We don't have a spot or a location in mind for the north side. We're just trying to get feedback about where it might be possible to do that. And starting, I wouldn't present it tonight because I think that Stephanie should be here to do that. So I'm asking to come back at your next community meeting, which might be
February.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I just wanted to stop in today. I have a couple. I didn't know how many of you guys would come. Very well attended meeting, but I brought a few newsletters and a couple of brochures. So if anybody would like them, we can share.
Yeah, you can also leave fine.
And if you're interested in learning more about the school, then just follow us on the socials. Do you want food? No. Oh,
Yeah, we'll just look at it.
Okay,
We'll pass it around. Yeah.
Raging interest, then we'll share.
And then are you going to be a teacher?
I am not. So I actually also work for the city. So I had a big city show up here tonight. I'm a coordinator in the City Parks Office of Special Events. Oh, cool. So that's my full-time gig, and then my personal interests are mindfulness, and I've been working with Stephanie because I was a parent of hers in the past, and would like to help establish mindful practices with it. Anybody else? Who did I miss? And I see this is some small.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well,
She attends Pittsburgh.
Nice to meet you. Sort of meet you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions about I'm going to get their name. Okay, Three Rivers Wildflower Montessori, right?
Three Rivers Wildflower
Right.
Montessori.
Any questions? It's Christine, right?
Yeah, it's
okay.
Christine.
Any questions for Christine while she's here?
I can just share this threeriverswildflower.org if you're online and you'd like to check that out. Learn a little bit more about our school vision and to connect with us for any personal or direct meetings to learn more. We're happy to do that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Also, always happy to have neighbors from adjacent hillsides.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Anything else from anyone else? Okay. So as we close out the meeting and the year, I did want to share a couple of updates from Trail Citizens. So if you are new to these meetings or you just you know that they exist, but you don't know exactly what the organization is behind this. So Trail Citizens is a 501c3 nonprofit community development corporation. And we are run by an all-volunteer board. That hasn't always been the case. That is true right now. So we are a group of volunteers that comes together to do these meetings, to communicate and coordinate with our government representatives, to pull together some events. So thank you to everybody who came to the most recent holiday tree lighting in the end of November. We also run Pinktoberfest, and we run the neighborhood yard sale in May. Am I missing anything? What other events do we do? Those are the main ones. Those are the three big ones. Oh, community cleanups. How could I miss that? That's so important. So we do those events. We are constantly working behind the scenes to try to advocate for our neighbors in our neighborhood. As you know, Pittsburgh has 90 neighborhoods, and so it's really helpful when there is a voice for each neighborhood. We are not a registered community organization yet, but we are looking to become a registered community organization. And the reason I'm saying all this is because we have 2 board spots open. And so those board spots are open to anyone who lives in the neighborhood. And anyone should feel welcome to put their name in. So the board meets once a month. We meet, on the off months of these meetings, and we meet after these meetings. The main responsibilities are basically like supporting, well, I would say attending those meetings, supporting events in one way or another, bringing your voice, your interest to those meetings, and helping to direct the work of the board. I'm happy to share more if you want to talk to me at any point. You're also welcome to email troyhillpittsburgh@gmail.com, and I can speak with you a little bit more there. So if you are interested in running for the Troy Hill Citizens Board, you just have to submit your bio. It has to be available to our membership for 30 days. And then after 30 days, we'll call a vote. So usually that happens in either January, depending on when we get bios, potentially February as well. And the membership votes on our new board members. So just want to share that. If you have been thinking about it, if you are interested in it, please come talk to me. Please email us. We can share more. Or just submit your bio and we will put you on the list of folks. That is the main thing. The other thing I will share is if you get our newsletter, you might have seen that Troy Hill Citizens has owned 1619 Lowry Street, the building on Lowry Street, for a long time, 12 years, something like that. We are in the process of selling that building, and I'm hoping to be able to share some more information about how that's going in January. I don't want to share it too soon, but I know if you all saw that update, it is currently under contract. Hope to be able to share some what I think is great news about that building in the beginning of the year. Any questions about anything that I just shared or any thoughts? Cool. The last thing I will share is this. Moving into next year, despite the fact that we are an all-volunteer board and our capacity is limited, our collective voice is still really powerful. And with that, I'm really interested in hearing from our membership, what are the things that are most important to you so that we as a board can direct our energy in the places that matter most. So if you are a member, you'll be receiving an email early next year with a very short survey just to get your voice on like what is most important to you. If you are not a member and would like to become a member, you can go to our website. Maybe Lindsay can drop that in the chat. And we're also, you can find us on Instagram, find us on Facebook, and find a link to our website there. Membership is just $10 a year. And so that's going to go out early in the year just so that we as a board can really receive direction from our neighbors. Like we are here to serve our neighborhood. We are here to serve you. Thank you, Lindsay. And so we really want to see what is important to you in terms of how we can best serve our neighbors. So be on the lookout for that. We'll maybe send a preview. We'll try to make sure the word gets out on social media or in our newsletter as well. So thank you all for that. If there's anything else, unless there's anything else from anyone else. Wonderful. I will close us out. Thank you all for being here, and we will see you in February. Have a good night. Thanks.
Am I staying on for our stuff?
Yeah, you can stay on. Board members can stay on. I'm just going to mute for a little bit here as folks kind of.
Cool.
All right. See you in a bit.